Ooh, we're in the midst of October, which means it's really Scoobtober. It's where I'm gonna talk about Scooby-Doo a whole You done? No, that's much worse. Sparta, I am already demonetized because of your shenanigans. Scoobtober is basically a time of year where I make a lot of Scooby-Doo videos. I do it every year. I promise I do this every year. Starting this year, I do it every year. This year, I binged-watched the entirety of A Pup Named Scooby-Doo multiple times over the past week, because I am incredibly depressed.
Don't cry, you two. The Scooby-Doo Detective Agency will get on the case.
So if you're not in the know, here's a short summary of what happened to me over the past month. I tried making the third video in my series about the old 1966 Marvel cartoons. This time it would have been about the Iron Man cartoon, so I watched all of that. I wrote a 40-page script, which is the longest script I'd ever written. I even filmed the entire video multiple times because I had some camera difficulties. But then as I went to my computer staring down 4+ hours of footage that I had filmed for this video, I had the worst, most severe panic attack I've ever had in my entire life. Several, in fact. Now, I'm not going to go into exact details about what happened because just the thought of continuing to work on this Iron Man cartoon has become a massive anxiety trigger for me, and I know that that sounds really silly. I promise I know how it sounds, but that is sincerely what happened. You can see my entire mental breakdown in real time on Twitter, where I was posting like wild, and I even posted an update on the YouTube community tab a couple weeks ago, and that was met with just a lot of support, and I really do appreciate that. So to quickly summarize the worst mental state that I've ever been in, I don't want to make that Iron Man video anymore.
I've lost all interest in you.
I am physically unable to make that video, actually. In fact, you may have noticed that I've not been able to make any videos for the past month.
Aha! I know exactly where I am. I'm lost.
And in addition to all of that, as if that weren't enough, that same week that I had massive panic attacks, I also had 2 other radical life changes happen to me at the exact same time. Changes that will explain where I am right now, if you are curious. But we'll talk more about that later in this video. In short, I was not mentally okay there for a little bit. And I know that I talk about mental health like a lot on this channel. It's probably annoying, and you're probably like, move on, we get it, your brain is broken.
Shaggy, pull yourself together.
I actually haven't seen any comments like that. I'm just projecting my own insecurities onto you. See, I'm doing it again. My therapist, shout out to therapy, by the way, gave me this little piece of paper with a mantra on it to sort of get me through this never-ending series of downward spirals I've been on for the past month. It reads, almost everything will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes, including you. Aww. So I tried doing that. I took a break from Twitter. I took a break from making videos. Probably not a great idea in the grand scheme of the YouTube algorithm. I just tried to turn my brain off for a little bit and relax. I said it like it was a foreign word to me. Relax? Am I pronouncing that correctly? I tried to relax the way that I know a lot of my friends do. Binge-watching comfort media.
Like, why don't you just relax in front of the TV and watch some nice cartoons, Scoob?
And to be honest, I did a lot of that binge-watching from this sleek motorized standing desk sent to me from the fine people at FlexiSpot. It's a fantastic desk, and it's really helped me out through these multiple chaotic life transitions I'm in the midst of by having a space at my home that feels professional and productive. If you like this desk, there's a link to where you can buy it in the description, and I'll even tell you a lot more about it later on in this video, but I did want to say up top, thank you so much to FlexiSpot for this desk and for sponsoring this video. I really do appreciate it. So I don't know about you, but I don't really tend to rewatch TV shows or movies that much. Like, I've seen The Office all the way through exactly one time, and that was enough for me. There's just constantly so much new stuff to watch. Like, I gotta keep up with this season of Ted Lasso. And hey, what about that LuLaRoe documentary that people were talking about for like 2 days? And maybe I should finally watch that movie Chef that's been collecting dust in my Netflix queue since 2018. I'll get around to it eventually. I've just never been the kind of person who's content rewatching Friends on a loop. loop until my mortal body is reclaimed by the earth. There are exactly 2 movies that I like to rewatch every year on my birthday as a little treat. Scott Pilgrim and Kiki's Delivery Service. And I didn't even watch Scott Pilgrim this year. I only watched Kiki. But probably the film that I've seen most times in my life is
Check out my pecs, little man.
Yeah, so I had a podcast a couple of years ago called Month of Monsters where I watched Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed every single day for the month of October, and I didn't even make it all the way. I got to episode 29 and I quit because I couldn't take it. Still, I watched it over 24 times that month alone, not including all the times that I've watched it as a kid and all the times that I've watched it since then, so it's pretty squarely my most watched film. In fact, because so many of you have requested it over the years, I'm running a special offer on my Patreon page right now just for the month of October, where if you support me at $5 or higher, you will get access to over 9 hours of audio commentary tracks of me talking over Scooby-Doo movies and episodes of the TV shows. And yes, that includes Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed. For the whole rundown of everything, go check out patreon.com/NerdSync. Would really appreciate your support over there, especially right now when I eventually explain why I'm here. Point is, Scooby-Doo is my comfort media. I remember being sick as a kid and staying home from school and turning on Cartoon Network. They were playing Scooby-Doo constantly. Either that or I only remember the Scooby-Doo episodes because it's the best show. I did also occasionally flip over to Nickelodeon during the day, and they were playing like kids shows, Blue's Clues. And I did also for sure watch those. Look, I'm a sucker for a cartoon dog solving mysteries. Now, when I was in high school, the Scooby-Doo cartoon that would play the most was What's New, Scooby-Doo? But growing up throughout elementary school and middle school, the one that really caught my attention was...
There's a mystery in town, so call the coolest pup around. Oh, Scooby, a pup named Scooby-Doo.
Everyone always asks me what my favorite Scooby-Doo show is, and it's A Pup Named Scooby-Doo. Hands down, no question. It's just the best one. All right, there are definitely better Scooby-Doo shows, like Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Iconic, classic, right? Mystery Incorporated, bold, fresh. 13 Ghosts. That one, that...
Row, you row gently down the stream. Life is but a dream.
It's got Vincent Van Gogh in it. It's pretty good.
Oh, what a wonderful night's rest. I must have had 20 nightmares.
But A Pup Named Scooby-Doo was my favorite show. It is my favorite show. Airing originally between 1988 and 1991, A Pup Named Scooby-Doo was subjected to the same fate a lot of properties underwent this same time. Take a franchise, make them younger, that's a new show right there. Muppet Babies, Tiny Toons, James Bond Jr. That last one can't possibly be real.
James Bond Jr. No one can stop him, but Scum always tries. Young Bond cuts through each web of spies. He learned the game from his Uncle James. Now he's heir to the name James Bond.
Wait, okay, so his name is James Bond Jr. His uncle is James Bond. But he's James Bond Jr., and it's not his dad, it's his uncle who's the James Bond. And can you do that? Anyway, the Scooby-Doo franchise already tried to inject the show with some more fresh, new, younger characters, like Scrappy and Flim Flam. Take a guess how that worked out. And since the gang was already supposed to be teenagers, if Hanna-Barbera wanted to babyfy this show as well, they would have to take the Scooby gang and make them literal children, which is what they did. Scooby, Shaggy, Velma, Daphne, and Freddy all together make up the Scooby-Doo Detective Agency, a sort of precursor to Mystery Incorporated, or potentially an alternate universe version of it. It's hard to know for sure. That Scooby canon is tricky, to put it lightly, but I think that's what I appreciate about this show so much. It makes so many choices that differ from the other shows in this franchise. The monsters here are silly and ridiculous, never attempting to be actually frightening the way they were in Where Are You? There aren't any space kooks or ghost clowns here. There are burger monsters and a ghoul that's just a big wig and a chicken stein.
Obviously, she forgot that dude tried to pluck us.
The animators played with wacky, over-the-top gags and kept pushing the bananas cartoony energy beyond anything we've seen in Scooby-Doo before or since. The way that Scooby overreacts to eating Scooby snacks, the way that his nose pops off his face to chase down clues as if it has a mind of its own. So many of these visual gags give A Pup Named Scooby-Doo a sort of classic animation quality about them. Like, I don't know, it feels like stuff you'd see in Looney Tunes, and even then, they amped it up a bit more. And the music in this show. Very few things on this planet can instantly flip a switch in my brain to put me in a good mood the way that the opening to A Pup Named Scooby-Doo can.
With Scooby, a pup named Scooby, Scooby, a pup named Scooby-Doo.
And beyond that, the music throughout the show has a bouncy, jazzy vibe to it, keeping the antics light and fun. Nearly every episode has an original song for the big chase sequence, too. And every single one rips.
They got your number. You just can't escape those bad guys. Here comes the Iceman. He's trying to freeze the crew. He's not a nice man. His touch will turn you blue.
Chasing good guys was his only dream. He's the way to love.
Where do more?
He's a weirdo.
She's got a crush on him. He's got such metallic skin. He's made of terrible transistors that goes berserk at parts.
Micro monster.
It was also the first cartoon to bring back Velma and Freddy after they had been absent from the franchise for over a decade. And this show made quite possibly my two favorite versions of these characters. Velma is quiet and studious, almost to the point of being oblivious. The characters are shocked when she speaks because when she does, it's usually something crucially important.
Aha!
Velma spoke. She said, aha.
She must have an idea.
I think the reason I like this version of Velma is because I see a lot of myself in her. Like, my parents always told me when I was a kid, I didn't speak for a really long time, but when I did, I spoke in full sentences, almost as if I was waiting to speak because I wanted to make sure what I said was important. Not that it was important. I mean, I still feel that way too when I rewrite every line of my script a dozen times to get the words to sound good. Wow, that was real bad. Can I get a second pass at that, please? Just kidding, I even wrote that flub into my script. Everything I do is a lie. Freddy returns to the series in the exact opposite role to Velma. Rather than being calculated and measured with what he chooses to say and do, Freddy believes anything he reads, loudly shouts everything that pops into his head without thinking, and never learns any lesson. When he's not blaming mole people and, I don't know, bubblegum Martians, I guess, for every monster attack that happens in Coolsville, he's blaming red herring.
The dog catcher ghost is really red herring.
We interrupt A Pup Named Scooby-Doo for this special announcement.
When's that doofus Freddy gonna learn I didn't do it?
Oh, one of the best characters in all of Scooby-Doo lore. This show taught me what a red herring is without ever having to actually explain it. The first episode treats Red like an actual suspect, but of course he didn't do it. Red herring is a red herring. Season after season, he was never behind the monster mask. Except the one time that he was, but that was the one time that Freddy didn't accuse him.
I knew it.
Heartbreaking, truly. More than anything, this show was the first Scooby show that allowed Fred to be eccentric. He was boring in the past, but he's genuinely extremely funny in A Pup Named Scooby-Doo. And that would later translate to the live-action movies, where he was made to be a bit of a himbo.
Excuse me, ma'am, but have you seen a goofy-looking kid and his puppy? Like it's us, Freddy?
Who's the ugly old brother?
Say hello to Grandma.
And all the way down to Mystery Incorporated, where he obsesses over creating traps, which is a punchline that is never, ever not funny.
Oh, Freddy, a scrapbook. I bet it's filled with wonderful pictures of traps?
We used this one to catch the Phantom of Vasquez Castle.
Yeah, I remember.
And it all started right here in Pup. That's how I shorten A Pup Named Scooby-Doo, because if I did the initials, then it would be APNSD. 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 You see what I mean? That's no good. I could be wrong here, but I think Pup was also the first show to make Daphne rich, which is a thread that's been carried way past this cartoon. It also invented the town of Coolsville, which was a turning point in the Scoob universe.
The people of Coolsville are the best in the world!
And dare I say it, this show perfected the Scooby-Doo formula. 3 suspects, 1 entertaining chase sequence, some Scooby snacks, ending it all with those meddling kids. This would solidify even further with future Scoob movies and shows sticking quite heavily to the formula, either to embrace it wholeheartedly or subvert it. But Pup did it best. Every episode successfully set up 3 possible culprits and then recapped all the clues at the end of the show.
Do you know who it is?
Ooh.
Well then, let's review the facts.
Displaying how it was totally possible that you could have solved the mystery simply by paying attention. I think my favorite episode is the one with Al Capone. The way that puzzle, that mystery unravels is just, so satisfying. And to be honest, that's not something that you can say a lot about classic Scoob. There are episodes in Where Are You where the person behind the mask is someone we had no chance of knowing. Bluestone the Great, Big Bob Oakley. How was I supposed to know about ex-magicians and escaped convicts if you won't even tell me they exist in the first place, gang? At least mention these characters so I have a shot. I remember an episode of What's New where Velma didn't get to meet the culprit, which made her guess wrong, and that annoyed her a whole bunch.
What? Who's this? We haven't even met her. We don't even know who she is.
She's my assistant, Susie Smythe.
And how was I supposed to know that?
Now you know how I feel, Velma. What's New Scooby-Doo was built on the extremely formulaic structure of A Pup Named Scooby-Doo. And I don't say formulaic to imply that it's bad. Being formulaic isn't necessarily a bad thing, even if it is a term that people throw at media that they don't like. Not to rehash an extremely 2018 debate, but there's no such thing as objective art criticism. You can have a piece of media that unironically embraces formulaic storytelling and have it be good, actually. It's all about what purpose the formula serves. And when it comes to binge-watching media I've already seen a dozen times because I'm depressed, that formula is critical. I think there's a pretty clear reason why the most binge-watched shows are sitcoms with predictable plot structures. An instantly understandable formula is comforting. Mystery Incorporated is one of the best Scooby-Doo shows out there. It shakes up the gang's relationships with one another, attempts a more serious tone with actual supernatural horror, while still keeping it light enough to be a proper Scooby-Doo show for kids and adults alike. I loved watching through it, and I'm never gonna watch it again. At least not likely. The reason is because the further you get into the show, the less formulaic it becomes, which again is neither a good or bad thing here, just an observation. The show has an ongoing plot that continues from episode to episode with lots of deep lore to keep track of, which makes it exciting the first time you watch it, but I don't know, I'm not itching to revisit it, because that serialized story structure doesn't have the same comforting predictability as something like
Scooby! Like, am I glad to see you, old buddy, old friend, old pal?
A Pup Named Scooby-Doo is like a warm hug around my childhood heart. It is a math equation for comfort. While it's exciting to watch something new and keep up as the story unfolds in ways that you might not have predicted, that precise lack of surprise when binge watching something that you've already seen a dozen times is where its true value lies. Any element of surprise is gone, but like, good. That's what I want, actually. But okay, binging any show for the umpteenth time, regardless of whether or not it's formulaic, can provide a sense of experiential control, wherein you already know how you're going to feel during your viewing. Oh, I love this episode. I hate what happened to this character when the showrunner changed. Oh yeah, this arc gets real sad here for a bit. If we watch this next episode, we have to watch all the way through the end of the season because it gets wild. You don't necessarily need to have good feelings about every part of the comfort show or movie that you're rewatching, but the fact that you know the parts you like or don't like already means that you likely already know the emotions you're going to be feeling regardless. And When you're battling mental states like anxiety and depression, where at least for me, I don't know how I'm going to feel moment to moment, let alone day to day, popping something on the TV that I'm so familiar with that I know precisely how I'm going to feel about every character and every gag, and it just makes me experience a level of control over my emotions that I am in desperate need of. After all, that's kind of what this show is about. In A Pup Named Scooby-Doo, the gang is presented with a situation that doesn't make sense, that causes all kinds of confusion and throws them into a state of unpredictability until they are able to piece together the clues and make sense of the senseless, to enact some kind of control over the chaos, to make their world make sense again. This makes even more sense when you realize that Pup isn't just a show about kids, but it's a show for kids. Think about it. If comfort media is something familiar that you can hold onto in the midst of new and overwhelming life changes, then the people who probably need it the most are children. I mean, they just got here. Everything's new to them. And a lot of children's media is actually designed around specifically repetition. Take, for instance, Blue's Clues. I have no idea if they still do this with the modern episodes, but back in the day, Nickelodeon would air the same one episode of Blue's Clues every day for 5 days straight, Monday to Friday. Then, the next week, they'd air a different episode for 5 days straight. No other children's show at the time was doing this. But there was a good reason why Blue's Clues did. It's a show about a detective uncovering clues, trying desperately with the help of his canine sidekick to unravel the mystery of who was responsible for his fiance's death. Whoops, sorry, that's my spec script for a gritty Blue's Clues reboot, where it's a true crime thriller now. Someone had to help the killer bury the body. Where were you that night? Shovel? Pail? My point is, kids watching the show wanted to feel like they were helping Steve, and by about the 4th or 5th time they watched through an episode, they were able to solve puzzles and shout out answers to Steve's questions before he'd even asked them.
Great job!
The kids felt like geniuses. They felt like they were on one of those limitless pills, you know, where you know what's gonna happen before it happens. They probably knew the movie Limitless was gonna happen, and they didn't warn us. What I'm saying is, if you grew up with Blue's Clues, you were the original comfort show watcher. Not intentionally, but just because that's how they aired the show. This video is supposed to be about Scooby-Doo. I don't really know how I got here. Although I should probably tell you how I got here. Yeah, so this is my tiny and cramped 1-bedroom apartment that I live in with my girlfriend Emily, and it will also be the place where I will film all of my YouTube videos for the foreseeable future. This is how it's gonna be. Pretty much. What happened to the office space that I was sharing with other YouTubers that had different sets and better equipment? I don't got it anymore. I don't have the same camera or lens or lighting. I mean, as of a couple weeks ago, I really had almost nothing to film or make videos with. I didn't have a computer here until a couple days ago. The situation is complicated. I wrote a whole big post on the YouTube community tab if you want to read that. But basically, in the midst of me suffering massive panic attacks from that Iron Man cartoon video, I also had to figure out how I was going to start making videos from home. And this is the solution that I've come up with. I don't have room for a set like I've been having, so this is just my dining room, and you can see my living room back there. Sparta's still here. You see him. I mean, I've still got some colorful lights. You know, this is a decent camera. Hopefully the audio sounds good. It's nothing too fancy. I won't be able to do any, super creative cinematography like I've been doing with my videos. I really can't move the camera at all. This is about the only angle that I can get right now. I bring all of this up not to make you feel sorry for me. Like, this still looks good, right? It doesn't look bad. I bring it all up for context. NerdSync, as I said, is once again an independent production. It's just me making these videos in this apartment, and I feel like I've shot myself in the foot a little bit with my previous videos. Over the last 2 years, I've been trying to make my channel more and more cinematic and having interesting different camera angles and telling these narratives through the video and having some fun lighting and props and things like that. And I can't do that right now. And I didn't want to start making more videos from home where the production quality seems like it's been cut in half without really explaining why, because I felt like if I didn't say anything and I just started putting out videos like this that are just so different looking than what I've been doing, that I guess I worried that people would think I don't know, like I gave up, like I just stopped caring. Couldn't be further from the truth. I care so deeply about making elaborate videos, but I can't right now. I don't have the time, really. I don't have the space physically. I don't have the budget to do it. But what I do have is my ideas and my writing and my very good editing. And I know that a lot of you have said that the, fidelity of my videos is not really the reason that you subscribed. It's not the reason you keep showing up. You just want to see what I have to say. And I really do appreciate that genuinely. It means so much to me. But I want that. I want to make big, elaborate videos. It's creatively fulfilling to me. And I think that's sort of the big giant question of all of this. Am I going to be creatively fulfilled doing this, making videos this way? I mean, I hope so. I mean, obviously we've got some limitations to what I'm able to accomplish filming everything in a 1-bedroom apartment with equipment that I've just sort of cobbled together. In that regard, it's extremely fitting that the last video I did end up making was about creating art by cobbling together bits and pieces of whatever you have lying around. And after that video, I tried to make a video about a cartoon that featured Iron Man, a character known for building a suit of armor in a cave with a box of scraps. Plus, the cartoon studio that made those 1966 Marvel cartoons was a studio that didn't have a lot of money. They didn't have a budget. They had very little time to put anything together, and they weren't even thinking about if people will like it decades from now. They were just making something in the moment. Like, I was unintentionally making videos back to back about how limitations can be creatively freeing, and now look where I am. I'm cursed. My next video will be about how artists, specifically those named Scott, should get paid lots of money, I think. Oh, hey, wait, whoa, what's this? A sponsor segment this far into the video? Yeah, okay, really quickly, I do have to shout out the sponsor of this video, FlexiSpot, for sending me this really rad motorized desk. It was spooky timing, actually. How did you know that I needed a desk so quickly, FlexiSpot? Did you know what was gonna happen? Are you on limitless pills? FlexiSpot makes incredible desks that are ridiculously easy to put together. My experience with this desk is that it came in 2 boxes, one for the top and one for the legs, and the instructions were basically screw the 2 big parts together and start using your desk, please. It was so fast that most of this time lapse is me assembling a chair from a different company that didn't want to sponsor me. The chair was more complex than assembling the desk. The desk is super sturdy regardless of how low or high that you have it, and you can customize your desk to be the exact size and color that you want. Originally, FlexiSpot was going to send me one with a wooden top, but I pulled a Batman and said,
"Does it come in black?"
And sure enough, they got some, so they sent one my way. And because we don't have a lot of space in this apartment, they sent me one that's a little more compact, which is perfect for our space and our needs. I've been working from a standing desk for the better half of 2 years now, and I love the flexibility of being able to sit or stand depending on what I'm doing. I find that I like to stand when I write and sit for long editing sessions. My previous standing desk had a crank, but this slick black glass top FlexiSpot desk is fully motorized with 4 programmable buttons for quickly adjusting the desk for your desired heights. I've got one programmed height for standing, one for sitting, and one in the middle that is just barely high enough to fit my chair under it when I'm not working, so everything is neat and tidy. Having this desk in my apartment has really made me feel like I can start getting work done. It's really made the transition to this new part of my life, this new phase of my life, a lot smoother. It feels like everything is off to a really great start, and it's all thanks to FlexiSpot. The desk they sent me also has a couple USB-A ports on the front and one USB-C port for charging as well. I cannot tell you how genuinely convenient that is when I'm binge watching A Pup Named Scooby-Doo. I can plug in the iPad to make sure it can get me through the entire series multiple times in one sitting. And you can get this same desk that I'm using by visiting the link in the description below. Again, link in the description, get this desk. Thank you so much to FlexiSpot. Wild how the timing of it all worked out, suspicious even, but I genuinely do appreciate it. Oh yeah, that's another thing too. Probably expect more sponsors on this channel than you're used to, because paying the bills is something that I'm gonna worry about a lot more these days. Support me on Patreon to get those Scooby-Doo commentary tracks. There's a reason that we're doing a special offer right now. It is scary to once again not have the stability that I once had and to try and make do on my own month to month again. But in a weird way, I'm feeling maybe not a sense of happiness from all of this happening. I don't feel happy that I had massive panic attacks and that my life changed in immeasurable ways. But I do feel a sense of, I guess what can only be described as joy, weirdly. Like it's hard, you know, every single day is hard, but I wake up and I get to do this. And I love doing this. Happiness comes and goes quite rapidly for me these days. But I do feel a revitalized and ever-growing sense of joy in the midst of all of this chaos. You know? It's like that chef from Chef.
Yeah, my credit cards are maxed out and we're not charging for food yet, so we're gonna have to wait on the sound system.
Yeah, but you look happy, baby, don't you?
So happy, so happy.
Yeah, that's what shopping is.
I did end up watching that movie, yes. It is a delight, obviously. One of the biggest things that I'm still trying to navigate is continuing to go to therapy without health insurance, especially now that I learned. So not to add even more to my already quite heavy plate, but once again, the same week that I was having debilitating panic attacks, multiple panic attacks from the Iron Man video, and I had this huge life change where NerdSync became independent, which caused a lot of anxiety in and of itself. I also found out a brand new way that my brain is broken. And look, I've already known, you've already known that I have mental health issues, and I've been extremely open about my anxiety and depression for a really long time. But as it turns out, my brain also functions, or at least tries to function, with ADHD.
ADHD is right.
I had genuinely no idea. But here's the thing, when I walked out of my therapy session with a diagnosis for something that can be treated with continued therapy and even medication, I mean, I just can't express how much that, it's hard to put into words. It feels like I finally have an explanation for why it feels like I've been playing life on hard mode. I mean, it felt like it was a massive turning point in my life. And it was, for different reasons. So now, of course, my biggest priority is to continue therapy and hopefully be able to afford medication. That would be great. And this would be the part of the video where I would say that, you know, we're gonna get through this. I'm gonna tackle this new era of my life with a positive attitude, and everything's gonna work itself out. You know, everything's gonna be okay in the end. But I don't know that. I am excited for this new venture in my life, but I'm also scared, obviously. I'm incredibly grateful to be in a place right now where I can be surrounded by people, by Sparta. You done? Sparta's done. I can be surrounded by people who are so endlessly supportive of what I do. Not only you all watching, but my friends and family in the real space out here. Everyone's been going above and beyond to really help me navigate this, and I really do appreciate it. But I guess I just don't want to hide behind a wall of positivity and just pretend like everything's okay. I think there's been a lot more open discussions about the idea of toxic positivity and how destructive that can be to one's mentality. A part of that LuLaRoe documentary talked about how having a workplace where the sellers were not allowed to criticize anything in the company, but instead only spin things in a positive, can-do way was mentally exhausting and damaging. Ted Lasso, especially season 2, is arguably about how the most upbeat people you know are likely dealing with their own trauma and mental illness they are attempting to mask with positivity when what they really need is therapy. Heck, I think everyone should be in therapy. And therapy didn't pay me to say that. Therapy didn't send me a free desk. Thank you, FlexiSpot. Great hookup, appreciate it. Link in the description. My point is, I don't really know how all this is gonna shake out. The next few months are gonna be challenging, to say the least. It will be hard and stressful and induce a lot of anxiety in ways that I've probably not experienced before. And when it gets to be too much, and I can't seem to get my emotions under control, I'm gonna turn to my favorite comfort show to get me through. Because almost everything will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes, including you. Aww. So cheesy, so corny. Okay, so I've said a lot of bad things that are happening in my life right now, so here's a couple good things to sort of even it out. My skin looks amazing. I am staying hydrated. That's great. And of course, we're still doing those Scoobtober commentary tracks over on Patreon, patreon.com/NerdSync, link in the description. Right now, I really rely on your Patreon support more than ever. So thank you to Bill and Diana Pilot, Christopher Lang, Eric Ketchum, Jonathan Lanowski, Amanda Trisdale, DeCassowary, Donna Bark, Edwin Latoro, Eric Totoro Pato, Everett Parrott, Jonathan and Megan Pearson, Mar Sottledeen, and the rest of the wonderful nerds who support me over at patreon.com/NerdSync. As I said, I've said that link a whole bunch just now. And hey, also, other good news, I just launched a brand new podcast called It's Probably Not Aliens. I do it with my buddy Tristan from Step Back History, and it's a show all about debunking the conspiracy theories and wild claims from the History Channel show Ancient Aliens. And we also teach you about the real-world history behind fascinating ancient civilizations along the way. We're brand new. We're available everywhere podcasts can be found. There'll be links to that in the description as well. And just leave us good ratings and reviews because we're a brand new podcast, and that really does help us out. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please leave a like and subscribe for more video essays about Scooby-Doo and other topics. I'm a Scoobtober now, I guess. Here's a whole playlist of my Scoob videos. Once again, my name is Scott, reminding you to explore your favorite art through curiosity and vulnerability. See ya.